Hello Internet and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, your source for slightly dicey speculative questioning where we throw a great big syntactical paradox against the brick wall purely to see if it will stick. As always, I'll be your host Jack Finch as we poke the pastaverse and ask the slightly perplexing question, was the Russian sleep experiment real? Before we tuck in, if you could be so kind to hit that subscribe bell floating in the corner so you can stay up to date with our latest twice daily uploads and never miss out on that next big question. Also, why don't you go ahead and share this video with a friend? Perhaps they're having trouble sleeping and need a dose of dulcet tones to sort them out. Well, let's begin. So, supposedly the Russian sleep experiment is well, first let's set the scene. It's the 1940s. A group of Russian researchers sealed 5 prison inmates into an airtight chamber. Participants, or in this case test subjects, were political prisoners that were deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Over the course of 15 days, the experiment would deliver the lofty task of keeping these prisoners awake for as long as they could. This was well before the days of CCTV, so the experiment was conducted purely with microphones and 5-inch thick porthole windows to monitor the effects. Their test room was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, a toilet and running water, and enough food to last all 5 subjects for over a month. Sounds pretty tame, right? Wrong. The prisoners were dosed with experimental gas that would prevent them from sleeping, and the observers would supposedly watch them descend into madness. For the first couple of days, everything was grand, but after the 5th day, their montage sequence of plummeting sanity would begin to roll. As the pasta goes, 9 days in, the screaming began. 2 of the sleepless prisoners started running around the chamber, yelling so hard their vocal cords nearly broke. The researchers later announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom." Their reply was a single phrase in a calm voice. We no longer want to be freed. Yeah, pretty death metal stuff. And then it gets worse and worse. Abdomens are mutilated, human flesh is consumed, commanding officers are shot, and the whole thing is covered up and swept under the rug. Job done. It's terrifyingly convincing, but no, it's not real. If you want to slip on your conspiracy hat, then maybe it's real, or something like it has occurred in the shadowy sections of scientific society. But as logical, evidence-based human beings, the Russian sleep experiment is nothing more than the creepiest of creepypastas. The oldest version of which can be traced back to a particular pasta posted to the creepypasta wiki on August 10th, 2010. The user who originally posted the tale was named Orange Soda, but as is commonplace on the internet, their real name is mysteriously unknown. Now, people absolutely love debating the authenticity of the Russian sleep experiment, and despite the fact that the evidence is staring them in the face, they refuse to acknowledge the fact that this fictional piece of work was posted to an online fan forum. Who knows, maybe it was real, and an entire Russian government division was tasked with a new policy to admit liability on real experiments they've conducted under the guise of creepypasta in an attempt to blur the lines of reality. That's just a little bit silly, but who knows, governments have done sillier things than that. Sleep deprivation though is serious business, and in most medical cases it results in a long and manic period of suffering. In 2002, the University of California found that non-rapid eye movement sleep was essential for turning off our neurotransmitters and giving receptors a chance to rest, regaining sensitivity to further allow hormones like serotonin to be effective at naturally produced levels. It also found that REM deprivation could potentially alleviate clinical depression because it mimics particular serotonin inhibitors. Does all of this sound confusing? Yeah, because it is, and the truth of the matter is that the science of sleep is a relatively unexplored scientific frontier. Despite more than 60 years of intense study, we still don't really know anything about it. The fact of the matter is, human beings lie down at night and turn off their brains, and we have no idea why. Sleep has many functions, we know that, but that's about it. Do you want to know something that the Russian sleep experiment pales in comparison to? Fatal familial insomnia, an extremely rare sleep disorder, so rare that only about 100 people on the planet are affected with it at any one time. It is an incurable prion disease of the brain that doesn't allow your brain to turn off ever and leads to hallucinations, delirium, and eventually death. It is so baffling to science that even when a medical coma is induced to replicate sleep, the poor person afflicted with this disease still can't switch off their brain. It's horrific, and I hope science can one day find a cure. Creepypasta? Yeah, that's a walk in the park compared to this. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Do you still think the Russian sleep experiment is real? Did you enjoy this video? Make sure to leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down and demonstrate your democratic internet right. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today, so make sure to hit that subscribe bell and stay up to date with our latest uploads. I sincerely hope you'd enjoyed this video. As always, you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. I've been your host, Jack Finch, and remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question.